Friendly Neighborhood Man Woman back with another response video. Oh, yeah, I'm trying not to make these things a habit, but there's so much stupid out there. Seriously. This time, we're, good old Alexandria, occasional cortex, beginning to think if, all of her time spent in New York rotted her brain, if she ever had one. But let's get into this, because I'm not only going to be responding to her, I'm also going to be reading and responding to an article as well. We're going to be taking a look at some statistics. So, yeah, that's happening. So, scrolling on my timeline, minding my own business, and I found this. Another Ocasio-ism. Is it really that hard not to be creepy? Now, you can see some of the headline, but let me go ahead, because I clicked through. This is the actual whole headline. 60% of male managers now say they're uncomfortable participating in work activities with women. Who didn't see that coming? Seriously, who didn't see that coming? But let's keep reading, because there's always more behind the headline, right? All right, so the hashtag #MeToo and Time's Up movement have brought huge attention to the challenges women face at work. Not exactly, but we'll get into that. But a new survey finds that 60% of male managers say they're uncomfortable participating in regular work activities with women, including mentoring, working one-on-one, or socializing. According to the survey released by leanin.org and SurveyMonkey, that's a 33% increase from last year. So, first of all, you don't use an independent survey company out there. You use somebody that leans in your favor so you can make this CNBC. Not that I ever respected CNBC, but, ever since the Me Too movement and the Lean In movement and the Believe Women started ramping up, we're seeing more and more men decide that they're going to shy away from even saying hello to women or making any kind of contact with women in any kind of manner at all, for fear of the fact that the woman is going to be, overreacting to a simple greeting. I mean, who doesn't remember that wonderful video of that woman walking down the street saying she was being verbally harassed, when most of what she was being told was that she was beautiful, that she was looking nice this morning, that the outfit really brought out her eyes. They were complimenting her and she was considering it harassment. Remember that video? I remember that video. I tend to remember things like that, especially when I'm reading articles like this. Senior level men also say they are 12 times more likely to be hesitant about one-on-one meetings with a junior woman than they are a junior man. 9 times more likely to be hesitant to travel with a junior woman for work than a junior man, and 6 times more likely to be hesitant to have a work dinner with a junior woman than a junior man. LeanIn.org founder and Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg calls the results totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. I can already guess why she considers it totally unacceptable, but to me, it's totally unacceptable for a completely different reason, probably. She tells Julia Boorstin on CNBC's Squawk on the Street that the problem with this dynamic is that women already aren't getting the same mentorship men were, particularly women of color. And in her experience, she says no one has ever gotten a promotion without getting a one-on-one meeting. Though some have argued that the Me Too and Time's Up movements have had a negative impact on relationships between men and women at work, Sandberg disagrees. She says the movements have had an overwhelmingly positive impact in the workplace, especially in spotlighting the problem of sexual harassment against women. Here's where I have to call bullshit. Why do I call bullshit? Well, here's why. Because in this day, in this particular cycle of feminism, because I've lost count which wave we're in at present, men are afraid of approaching women in a completely benign way because they don't know what benign is anymore. They're afraid to say a simple hello. They're afraid to approach and wave. They're afraid to do anything for fear of being accused of sexual harassment. Hell, there was even a story out a couple of weeks ago about a guy that got arrested for stopping on the side of the road to change a woman's tire because she said that he harassed her, and it later found out that she lied about the harassment. He changed her tire, and she called the cops on him saying he had sexually harassed her, and then she said she had made it up. With shit like this, it's little wonder men don't want to approach women in any kind of environment, much less a work environment, to help mentor them, to get them the skills that they need in order for them to move up the corporate ladder. But these people don't see this. They see this in a completely different way. They see this in some sort of sexist way. And to me, it is a sexist way. It's sexist toward men, not women. The thing is, it's not enough, she says. It's really important not to harass anyone, but that's pretty basic. We also need not to be ignored. Rachel Thomas, president of LeanIn.org, tells CNBC Make It that sexual harassment is a lot of things. And it's really a complicated issue, but a big piece of it is power dynamics. We need more women in positions of leadership, more people of color, more LGBTQ people, she says. We need to change what leadership looks like in our organizations because we know that will lead to more safer and stronger workplaces. You're afraid of being harassed, but you don't want to be ignored, but you haven't firmly defined what you consider harassment. Herein lies the problem. The standard definition of harassment in the sexual sense has been clear up until recently when you guys started saying that, hi, that dress really brings out your eyes is sexual harassment. Or, good morning, Kate, would you like some coffee? When you take simple compliments, benign questions, and gestures of friendship as sexual harassment, you have vastly changed what the definition of sexual harassment is, to the point where a man doesn't want to approach you at all for any reason, for fear of losing their job and being considered some sort of predator. Both she and Sandberg point out that sexual harassment is twice as likely to occur in organizations where men dominate the C-suite. That's why Thomas says it's imperative that men speak up and take action. My suspicion is that a lot of good guys don't realize that by not actively mentoring, sponsoring, or creating full access, they are inadvertently part of the problem, Thomas says. As a solution, Thomas and Sandberg say any man who doesn't want to have work dinners with a woman should also not have work dinners with a man. Instead, they should have group dinners so that everyone is included. Corporate one-on-one dinners are normally to discuss raises or promotions or project plans that are one-on-one. This is why they are one-on-one. Usually, corporate group dinners involve commending people in that corporate group, in that corporate team, for meeting certain goals, for doing something right, for getting the promotions. The one-on-one dinners, in my opinion, if you want to eradicate them, fine. But don't say, well, if you don't want to have if you don't want to have a one-on-one meeting with a woman, then don't have it with a man. Bullshit. One-on-one meetings are crucial for workplace improvement as far as performance is concerned, because a lot of those one-on-one meetings are assessment meetings to see how well that person is working for that company, and how much of an asset that person is for that company, and if they still have room to improve. What you guys have done by moving the goalpost on what sexual harassment is made it virtually impossible for a man in a management position to call a woman into his office for a personnel review, which is usually standard and should happen every so often in any kind of job setting. But since you guys have completely changed the definition of what sexual harassment is, that personnel review now becomes a minefield for that male manager because he doesn't know what to say, how to approach the topic of personnel review, because you may think the fact that he thinks you're deficient in a particular department of your job set, of your skill set, is some sort of sexual harassment or some sort of sexism. So now it's a minefield, but not for the woman, for the man that's in the management position. And if you flip-flop it and the woman's in the management position, then the man that has to come in for the personnel review is feeling awkward because he doesn't know how he's supposed to respond to these questions in a personnel review setting, to where the manager won't think that he is being a male chauvinist, a sexist, or some sort of harasser. This is what you've created for yourself. This is what you women have created for yourself. And I'm sorry. Only hire POCs and women if they have the merits, the experience, and the expertise for the job, not just because they're POCs or women. I don't want to be hired for any position just because I have a fucking vagina. I want to be hired for the position because I'm qualified for it. Because everything in my resume and my CV says that I am qualified and perfectly capable of doing the job. Not because I have tits and a vagina and a fucking pulse. That's one way to create equal access, says Thomas. I don't fully understand it, but for whatever reason, if a man is also uncomfortable having a one-on-one meeting with a woman or working with a woman, then leave the door open. Regardless of how a man may feel about working with a woman, Thomas says there's no excuse for not being a good manager, not being a good leader, and not offering equal access to the mentorship and sponsorship that we all know employees need to succeed. Okay, now that we have finished with that, leave the door open. I love it. Just leave the door open. Just leave the door open on a personnel review. You see the problem here? Personnel reviews are supposed to be private. Personnel review. Okay, you want to be, you want them to bring you in on a personnel review. How about this? If it's a man in the management position and a woman doing the personnel, coming in for the personnel review, how about we get a third person that happens to be a male? Oh no, wait, can't be the male. Oh no, wait, can't be a male in that personnel review, because then it'd be 2-on-1, and then the woman would be accusing the men of not only sexually harassing, but probably dogpiling her in a corporate setting, which wouldn't work, right? Okay, so let's try, the man's in the management position, the woman's coming in for the male review. Now you have how about a second female? No, you can't have two females or one guy in the room, because that one female may back up the other female if the guy has an oops. Or if the guy says the wrong thing, not knowing he said the wrong thing. So now there's two women lying on one man. See where this is going? See where this is going? It's a no-win situation. Oh, wait. Hold on. Man in the management position, woman coming in for a female review. Before I close this door, let me turn on this tape recorder and let me turn on this camera. This personnel review will be recorded for your safety and my safety. Let's begin. There we go. Cameras and tapes. That way she can't accuse the man of sexual harassment and he can't accuse her of anything either. And it won't matter who's in the management position and who's coming in for the personnel review. Works? Works for me. Let's look at these stats. So here's the leanin.org site. It says 60% of managers who are men are uncomfortable participating in a common work activity with a woman, such as mentoring, working alone, or socializing together. Senior level men are now far more hesitant to spend time with junior women than junior men across the range of basic work activities such as one-on-one meetings, travel, and work dinners. We need to actively support women at work, including by mentoring and sponsoring them. Men who are the majority of managers and senior leaders can help make this happen. Sure, make it happen. Let's come on in for a mentoring session. Let me turn on this camera and this tape recorder. It's just for your safety and mine, just in case something were to happen. Just in case. Just in case. And also, if you want to get ridiculous with it, okay, we're all here for a dinner. You know, I'm the senior partner. I happen to be male, and here, you know, I'm having this business dinner with this female partner. Oh, please excuse the camera and the recorder on the table as we eat dinner. This is just for documentation purposes. That's what it's coming to. Mentorship is critical. Women get less support. What happens if men don't take action? So we're still going. Not harassing is not enough. We need men to support women's careers. That's how we'll achieve a workplace that is truly equal for all. I'm just going to leave that there. I read that. That's directly from the leanin.org website. Look. Here are my final thoughts on the situation. I've done blog posts on this, and I've responded to this the old way. So I'm going to respond to this in the new way. In this era of hashtag #MeToo, hashtag #LeanIn, hashtag #BelieveWomen, more women are coming out, not to say they're being sexually harassed or raped or sexually assaulted, but to lie about it. This leaves actual victims of these kind of crimes out in the cold because you're invalidating what's actually happened to them. My advice to you women who can't tell the difference between sexual harassment, sexual assault, and rape, learn it. Don't learn it by experiencing. God, no, don't learn it by experiencing. Learn it by reading, researching, and figuring it out. Because the way you guys have moved the goalposts, you have made a minefield for men. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't men out there that are male chauvinists. I'm not saying there aren't men out there that are sexist. I am not saying that there are men out there that can be assholes. Okay? There are. It's not all men. Hashtag not all men. Just like it's not all women that can be bitchy, vindictive, and viperish. But some of us can be. Each of the sexes, and there's two, by the way, each of the sexes has negative traits and positive traits. You cannot blame the whole for the actions of a few. That's how we have come to this situation. That's how we have come to such unnerving and aggravating, in my opinion, phrases like, teach your son not to rape. A phrase that sticks in my craw every time I read it because it's just a slap in the face, in my opinion, to every parent that's ever raised a son. Men are not inherent sexual harassers. Men are not inherent sexual assaulters. Men are not inherent rapists. Men don't set out to do this. All men don't set out to do this. That's why it's illegal. That's why it's called deviant behavior. That's why it's out of the norm, because normal men don't do this. Your average man doesn't do this. You people aren't getting it in your heads because it's not backing up your whining, your pissing, your bitching, your moaning, and your overall complaining about how well you want to be treated, but how you're not being treated. People aren't going to treat you special just because you have 2 tits, a heartbeat, and a fucking vag. I'm sorry. They're not. You have to prove to people that you got your position because you merited that position. You earned that position for your expertise and your education and your experience, not because you have 2 tits and a vag. And until you fucking learn that, you're going to have a problem. And until you learn the difference between a compliment and actual sexual harassment, you're going to have men that are not going to want anything to do with you. not going to want to say anything to you, and not going to want to come anywhere near you. So you women best figure out the difference, because you're making the rest of us women that can tell the difference look like idiots just like you. Hey guys, there's a good friend of mine that's been keeping up with false allegations and false accusations of women falsely accusing men of things and the ramification of said accusations in the case of the men. If you want to check out that thorough documentation, please go to my friend Kay's channel. The link is in the description.
As always, thank you for watching. If you like the content you've just seen, don't forget to hit that like button. We can continue the conversation in the comments section below. Any and all sources used for the video can be found in the description, as well as links to the blog and how to support the channel. As always, stay skeptical, never stop asking questions, and always look for the truth.